Hello everyone, my name is Samantha Sonnet and I'm here to show you how to use a tool that can save your life, that can save the life of a loved one or a stranger if need be. And that's the Generation 4 Soft T-Wide Tourniquet. All right, I've been in law enforcement for the last 17 years in one of the largest police departments in the nation. And during that time I've seen this used in the field quite a few times through all kinds of things, ranging from acts of terrorism to vehicle accidents, to shootings, to stabbings, and construction accidents. Right? This is not just a law enforcement tool though, this is something that every single person can use in their life. Right? I carry one of these when I'm off duty, I carry these in my car, in my bag, and of course when I'm working I carry multiples of these. So what is a tourniquet? This will basically help you if there's some kind of traumatic injury to one of your limbs, your arms or your legs, where you're bleeding heavily and we have to constrict that blood flow within a matter of minutes or seconds. Right? A heavy arterial bleed coming from, say, your arm, for example, you could bleed to death in 20 seconds, really. So knowing how to use a tool like this is imperative. So how does this look? When you first take this out of the packaging, right, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you take this constricting band, because you're going to have a loop here where your limb's going to go through, right? I want to take this and I want to pull it until, for me, a small enough size where I can fit this up my arm comfortably, but I have enough slack in it so if I have like a winter jacket on, it can still fit over it with ease, okay? Now where do I place this? I want to place this high up on my arm, and I want to place it like above my bicep tricep area, but I don't want to go so high that I'm up here on a joint, right? I don't need this on my shoulder cap, it's not going to do anything for me, right? So I get this nice and high. Now once it's here, I clearly need to get the slack out of it, right? So there's a couple different ways that I can go about doing this. My preference is I grab onto the constricting band right here by the clip. I'm going to move in this direction, and then I'm going to cinch it down against my body like this. I pull the strap across my chest. Now, sometimes people have a hard time cinching. When they go to do it, they're doing this and it's just not going anywhere. It's not working for them for whatever reason. But that's okay. So now there's something else we can do. If I pin the windlass against a solid object, whether it's a wall, I'm going to use the table in front of me, or say I was laying on the ground, which is a good chance I will be laying on the ground in the real world, I could simply lay my body weight down on top of the windlass to hold it in place. So like I said, I'm going to use the table. So I'm going to lean down and I'm going to put pressure directly in front of the windlass. Right? I want it to be in front of it so that when I take this constricting band and I pull it, that doesn't go anywhere and it allows me to tighten the tourniquet. Now that the slack is out of my tourniquet, the lock back here, right, my anchor point, I can't see it, and that's not ideal because I want to be able to see it. If this is a real life situation and I'm bleeding to death, that's going to be too difficult for me. So what I want to do is I want to grab the tourniquet itself and I want to pull it in towards my chest. Now it's in my workspace and I can see everything, okay? So now here comes the fun part, right? I get to take this windlass and I'm going to turn it. And I'm not just going to turn it one time, right? I'm going to turn it until I really can't turn it anymore. I want to put a lot of pressure on the limb to stop the blood flow. So the best way to do this, as I'm turning it, I don't want to just use my thumb to try to marry these two pieces up, because sometimes you don't have the hand strength to do that, especially if my hand is slicked in blood at this point, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to take the tip of the windlass, I'm going to place it into the palm of my hand. That way it won't slip as easily, and I have the strength of my whole right arm now to go ahead and put pressure on it. So I'm going to put pressure down, I'm going to find that retention clip, and now, and this is a really important part, I need to take this tri-ring and put it over the tip of my windlass as an anchor point, because I don't want this to shift anywhere, all right? Now if I'm being rescued, if someone's picking me up or moving me, this thing isn't going anywhere. Okay, so that's a really important part. Don't think that once you just slide this into the retention clip that you're good to go. You have to take that extra step and lock it into place. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do a leg application. But before I do that, I just want to show you one thing that can happen with the tourniquet. So sometimes you'll get this extra material, since I've put it on a couple times now. Alright, this material can sometimes kind of bunch up underneath the windlass here. And I don't want that to happen, I want it to be nice and flush. So all I got to do to correct that is take the band and pull it. And now it sits nice and flush on the tourniquet. And again, that's just part of staging the tourniquet for yourself, okay? So for a leg application, it's great because I have two hands, which makes it a lot easier. And I have the buckle. That's why the Soft T Wide is great, because it actually has a buckle for you to use for the leg application. Makes it much, much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and open the buckle, flip it forward, and remove it. Now from here, I'm going to place this on my leg. Now normally in the real world, I would probably be on the ground, but for the purposes of this video, all right, I'm just going to be standing, okay? Now, as I put this tourniquet on, in the real world, what I'd want to do is find that little shallow space behind my knee. And you want to get it as high as you can on the leg, okay? And then we're going to buckle it into place. Again, this is as high up as I can really go. Now, one thing you really want to make sure of is that you don't have anything in your pockets. The tourniquet is fine going over clothing, even bulky clothing, but there can't be any kind of solid object in between the tourniquet and your limb. All right, so my cell phone's out of my pocket, my keys are out of my pocket, all of those things. And that's true for your leg and for your arm. If you have any pockets up on your shirt, on the sleeve, you got it, those have to be empty, okay? So now I have it nice and high, and I got two hands to work with, which makes this a lot easier. I hold the tourniquet with one hand, and then I'm gonna take the band, and I'm gonna tighten it down to get all the slack out of it. Now from here, I got, again, two hands to work with my windlass. So I'm gonna turn. For the leg application, I usually find it takes a couple more turns than you would see with the arm, but I'm going to turn it until I can't turn it anymore. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the tri-ring to anchor it down. For this, you don't necessarily need to use the retention clip because I have two hands and it's a little easier, but if you need to use it there, that's fine. As long as you anchor it in the end, we're good to go.